Hello everyone. Today we are going to prepare a cash budget. So let me explain the format of the cash budget first. So there are 4 sections of the cash budget. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. So we'll go step by step of every sections. Whenever you will solve this question, my suggestion also go step by step so that you can easily solve the question without any mistake. So what is the section 1 is about? Section 1 is about the expected cash collection budget. So you are going to prepare a budget of your expected cash collection in the future. So how much cash you are going to receive in future? So you know that we have a terminology called accounts receivable. And what is the meaning of accounts receivable? Accounts receivable means cash to be received in future, right? Cash to be received in future. So as we are making a plan, a budget, we assume that we are going to collect $210,000. This is a number. Just for example, we are going to collect $210,000 cash from our accounts receivable in future. Now, after collecting the cash, our next step is to use this money, okay? Is to use this money for several purposes. So the second section is about cash disbursement. So cash disbursement means, another word, it is called cash payment. Another word, it is called cash payment. So first we collect our cash. After collecting the cash, we are going to use this money for several payments. Now we are making a plan, a budget. What is the items of transactions that need to pay money? First, we find that if we buy direct materials, we have to pay money. If we buy direct labor, not buy for the salaries and wages, we have to pay salaries and wages. And we are going to use our cash. For the manufacturing overhead, like indirect materials, indirect labor, we are going to use our cash. Then selling and administrative expenses, we are going to pay our cash. We can buy property, plant and equipment. We can pay cash. We can pay dividend by using our cash. So these are the expected cash payments for the future. These are some examples. Okay, so we usually receive cash from accounts receivable, and we are going to use this cash for payment of several transactions, and these are the transactions that we need to pay money. So according to this example, what is our collection? Our collection is $210,000, but look at our expected payment. Our expected payment is $230,000. So this is a good news or bad news, that you are going to collect 210, but you are going to pay 230. It is a bad news, right? Your payment is higher than the collection. So if your payment is higher than the collection, then we have an option. We have the option to borrow money. We have the option to borrow money. So in the section 3, we are going to see, whether we have any good news or bad news. So if you have excess cash, this is the good news. Why it is good news? If you have excess cash after paying the money. But after paying the money, you find that you don't have enough money to pay the payments. It is called deficiency. And the deficiency means it is our bad news. So section 3, we are going to calculate this excess amount. We are going to calculate this excess amount, or we are going to calculate the deficiency amount. Okay. If it is a bad news deficiency, we are going to use the first bracket. Okay, so we are going to use first bracket. So here, this first bracket means $20,000 means Okay, this $20,000 means this is the deficiency. This is the deficiency of cash. Why deficiency? Because your payment is going to be higher than you receive cash. Now, if this is the case, you have one option to borrow money from a bank, okay, because you need to pay this money, right? You need to pay this money. So how can you get this money? You can borrow money from a bank or any other financial institutions, and later on you can repay this money back. So whenever you are going to repay this money back, in addition, we have to add interest expense. So you borrow money $20,000. Now this is the time to repay the money. So when you repay the money, we should pay them interest expense. So this is the story of cash budget. 4 sections: cash collection budget, cash payment budget. Then we are going to calculate whether we have excess cash or we have deficiency of cash. If we have deficiency, we have the option to borrow this money, okay, from some bank or any other people or any other financial institutions. And whenever in future we have available cash, okay, we can repay this loan. And when we repay this loan, we have to pay additional interest expense, right? Now let's read one question. This is the question. Assume the following information of Royal. So we have 3 months, April. We have April. Then we have May. And we have June. So 3 months information are given. And when we add all together, this is the quarter. This is the quarter. And which quarter in this year? Can you guess? We have 4 quarters in 1 year, right? This is first quarter, second quarter, or third quarter, or fourth quarter? Second quarter. Yeah, this is important that we should know. This is the second quarter. This is the total amount. So this is the total cash collection, $905,000. And this is the total cash payment of this quarter, right? But individually, we have April, May, and June. So which information are given? Look at here, first part of the question. Can you remember the first part of the question? Section 1. Section 1 is cash collection, right? Section 1 is cash collection. So this is about 1. So number 1 is about cash collection. Number 2 is about cash payment. We know that. So 1 and 2 given. Cash collection and cash payment given. So this is not difficult here. We know cash receipt and cash collection. We have some additional information that need to be considered. So what are the additional information? Has an April 1st cash balance $40,000. So what is the meaning of this date, 1st of April? What is the meaning of this date? The meaning is beginning cash balance of April. You know that April, we have 1st of April, beginning of the month, and 30 April is the last day of the month. So question give you, when we start in the month of April, we already have, before collecting this money, look at it, this is the money you are going to collect, right? This is the money, $170,000 money you are going to collect from your accounts receivable. But before, you already have $40,000 cash with you. Do you understand? So you need to collect $170,000 from some people. However, you already have $40,000 cash with you. Clear? So this is the beginning cash balance of April. Beginning cash balance of April. This information is given. So you have another information. You have another information given. Maintain 16% open line credit for $75,000. So 16%. What is the meaning of 16% here? I told you that whenever we are going to repay our loan, okay, we have to pay interest expense. And at that time, we need interest rate, right? We need a rate. The rate is 16% interest rate. And the credit line is $75,000. That means your company already contract with a bank, okay, to give you some credit, to give you some loan, okay. And bank said that, okay, you can get $75,000 in this coming quarter, because this is the second quarter, right? So you make a contract with a bank, and bank promise you to give you $75,000 if you need this money. Okay, if you need this money, bank said that no problem, I will give you this money. But if you receive money from me, okay, it may be 30,000, it may be 10,000, it may be 70,000, it doesn't matter. Whenever you receive money, then you have to return back my money with interest, right? If you use my money 2 months, you have to give me 2 months interest. If you use this money 1 year, you have to give me 1 year interest, something like this. If you use this money 5 years, you have to give me 5 years interest, something like this. Bank said that no problem, I can give you for the coming quarter, I can give you $75,000 and you have to give me 16% interest. Do you understand second point? Third point, maintains a minimum cash balance of $30,000. What is the meaning? Minimum cash balance you have to maintain. That means every month you must have ending balance at least $30,000. Look at every month we have beginning balance and ending balance, right? In the month of April, we already know the month of April beginning balance. What is the month of April beginning balance? $40,000. But question said that ending balance should be at least $30,000 every month. If you have more balance, look at it. If you have more balance, you can keep it, no problem. But make sure that at the end of every month, you must have $30,000 with you as a free cash. That means you already pay all the money, okay? After paying this kind of expenses, look at here. After paying this kind of expenses, these are the expenses, right? These are the expenses we have to pay. After paying this kind of expenses, you must have at least $30,000. And it means that if you do not have $30,000 minimum balance, you have to borrow money from a bank. Do you understand my point? Yes. So you have to make sure that at the end of the month, you have at least $30,000. But if it is below 30, go to the bank and get the loan, because this money should be with your hand anyway. But if you have enough money, then you don't need to borrow, you can keep it, but it should be at least $30,000. Now I told you that we have to calculate the interest expense. We have to calculate the interest expense when we pay the money back. Now the question is, this is important part of this question, how to calculate this interest expense. Because I already told you that if you use this money 2 months, you have to give them 2 months interest, okay? 3 months, 4 months, or 5 months, whatever you use their money, you have to calculate their interest expense. Now, how to do that? Assume that according to this question, borrow, that means you need to borrow money. You are going to borrow money. When you are going to borrow the money, question said that if you borrow the money, it should be first day of the month. Do you understand? For example, you borrow money on April. Okay, this month you need to borrow money. Now, according to this question, they told you that what should be the date of this borrowing money? April 1st, yes. So 1st April. You understand this, right? Question said that borrow money on the first day of the month, right? You understand here? Then when you repay this money, when you repay this money, we have also assumption. So repay. For example, we repay this money. For example, the month is June. But the question is when in the June? Because we have June 1st, June 2nd, June 3rd. What should be the date? Question said that repay this loan on the last day of the month. Last day of the month, right? We assume that we are going to repay. We don't know when we are going to repay, but this is for example. This, for example, that in the month of April, we are going to borrow this money. In the month of June, we are going to repay this money. And what should be the repayment date? Repayment date should be 30 December. Sorry, 30 June. Do you understand? And for example, you borrow $50,000. So you borrow $50,000. When you borrow this $50,000, you borrow this $50,000 according to this question. It is 1st of April you borrow this money, right? 1st of April you borrow this money, and June 30 you are going to repay this money. This is for example. This is for example just. Now when we calculate interest expense, we already know that. What is the rate? Rate is 16%, right? Rate is 16%. And question said that if you borrow money, it should be the 1st of the month. If you repay money, it should be the last day of this month. Any month. Okay. So I give you one example. And according to the example, we assume that we borrow money in the month of April and we repay money in the month of June. Okay. We repay money in the month of June. Now, as we repay money in the month of June, okay. Now tell me how many months interest we need to calculate for this transaction. Because if you fail to calculate this kind of interest expense, you are going to lose the grade. So now tell me how many months interest you need to calculate. 3 months, very good, yes, 3 months. Now how to calculate this? I can show you the formula. For example, you borrow $50,000 times 16%, right? And you know that whenever we calculate percentage, it is based on 12 months, right? So percentage, we calculate percentage divided by 12. If you divide it by 12, it means that you are going to get per month interest, right? Now how many months we use this money? 3 months. Equal $2,000. So this is the interest expense, $2,000 for how many months? This $2,000 interest for 3 months, because you use this money for 3 months. Why you divide by 12? You divide by 12 because you get 1 month interest, right? Then convert it into 3 months. Yeah, so this is the way to calculate interest for this question. And another information question give it to you. They say that purchased $143,700 of equipment, because here I told you that if you buy property, plant and equipment, you have to pay cash, right? Then I told you that if you pay dividend, you have to pay cash. So question give you this information. Question tell you that this company purchase equipment. When they purchase equipment? In the month of May and in the month of June, right? In the month of May and month of June, and pay cash. So we have 3 months, April, May and June. It means that April do not have any equipment, right? April do not have any equipment. We have only equipment in the May and June. Question also tell you that pay dividends $49,000 when company pay this dividend? In the month of April, okay? Not in another month. It is not in May, it is not in June, okay? They pay this dividend they pay this dividend in the month of April. So this is the question. Now, as this is the question, we have to prepare a cash budget by following these 4 steps. First, we are going to see how much cash we are going to collect, right? Then how much cash we are going to pay, okay? Then whether we have any excess money or whether we have any deficiency money, bad news. If we have bad news, we have to borrow this money. Then finally, if we have enough money, we can repay this money with interest. Okay, this is the overall story. Now let me solve this question, very, very easy. I give you the blank sheet, you can solve with me. So my suggestion, if you want to solve this question easily and I mean easily and without doing mistake, I suggest you go April 1st, okay? After solving April, go May, then June, then quarter. This is the way to make the answer easy and without doing mistake. But if you go 4 months together, okay, then you may have chance to do mistake. But if you are very smart, then you can do all the months together. I have no problem if you can do all the months together, if you are very smart. But if you do not have confidence, I suggest you go month by month. Okay, month by month. Now question said that we have beginning balance in the month of April. So this number is given. Question already give you what is the beginning balance of April before you cash collect, right? Before we collection cash, okay, we already have some cash with our hand. Beginning balance, $40,000. I copy this. So this is the month of April. In the month of April, I already have a beginning balance. And it is $40,000. Now I am going to collect some cash in the month of April. And the question already give you that this is the cash receipt budget. So in the month of April, you are going to collect $170,000. So this is the month of April, we collect $170,000. So we have a balance $40,000. We collect $170,000 from accounts receivable. So what is the total available now? Total available now is $210,000. This is the available of cash you have in the month of April, right? Now, after available cash, you are going to pay this cash for this kind of transactions, right? So you can see that, and this is the payment. This is the payment. Some information are here, some information are in the additional information. So your first payment is to buy direct materials and pay cash. So we buy direct materials and we pay cash. Then we have direct labor. We have to pay them salary, right? We have to pay them salary. So this is the direct labor. This is the direct labor. Then this is the manufacturing overhead, $56,000. Okay. Indirect material, indirect labor, other factory overhead, we have to pay cash, $56,000. Then selling $70,000. Selling $70,000. Okay, we pay this cash. According to this question, we did not buy any equipment. According to this question, we did not buy any equipment in the month of April. Can you remember? Because equipment is only for May and June. Equipment is only for May and June. April do not have any equipment, okay? But April we have another expense. Can you remember another items? Another transaction we have in the month of April, it is dividend. We pay dividend in the month of April. So we pay dividend here. So now we are going to add this total amount. How much total payment? Total payment is $230,000. So this is the total cash collection column row, and this is the total cash payment. So we find that this is our expected cash collection, right? And this is our expected cash payment. So it is a good news or bad news? Bad news, because our cash payment is higher than the cash collection. So yeah, as it is a bad news, we are going to use the first bracket. $20,000 is the deficiency. $20,000. That means you don't have this $20,000 money to pay, right? To pay. Now I told you that if you do not have enough money, you can borrow this money. And question said that you already have a contract with the bank, right? And bank said that this is the money you can collect now. But the question is, how much money you have to borrow today? In the month of April, how much money you have to borrow? Because question said that at the end of every month, okay, at the end of every month, you should have at least $30,000 with your hand. Okay. Can you remember this question? The minimum, maintain a minimum cash balance. That means every month you must have an ending balance this. Okay. At least, it is at least. Every month you must have ending balance at least $30,000. So at the month of end of April, you must have this money with your hand. Okay. Now, how much money you have to borrow here? This is the borrow. This is the borrowing cell. So here, how much money you have to borrow from a bank today? 30, 20, or 50? $50,000, right? So if we can borrow $50,000, look at here. If we have this $50,000 borrowing, then we can pay easily $20,000 to other people, right? Because this $20,000 we are liable to pay other people. So after paying this $20,000, because this is my cash deficiency, I have $30,000 with my hand. Okay. So the month of April done. The month of April done. So this is cash collection. This is cash payment. We have deficiency. And if we can borrow $50,000, we can have, after paying 20, we have remaining 30. Okay. Now ending balance of April is the beginning balance of May. Clear? So this is the ending cash of April. Ending cash balance of April is the beginning cash balance of May. Do you understand? Okay. Now we know what is the beginning cash balance of May and what is the money we are going to collect in the May. In the month of May, we are going to collect $400,000. The question tells you this information, that in the month of May, we need to collect $400,000. This is $400,000. Now total cash collection in the month of May is $430,000. This is the available collection in the month of May, right? Now what is our payment? Our first payment is for direct material, 72,300. 72,300. Second payment is for direct labor, $23,000. Second payment. What about the third payment? $76,000 for manufacturing overhead. $76,000 for manufacturing overhead. Then what is the fourth payment? $85,000 for selling and admin. $85,000 for selling and admin. Okay. Now question said that in the month of May, we bought $143,700 of equipment and we pay cash. So you can see here, purchase equipment and we pay cash. So can you remember April, we don't have any equipment, right? Now, how for the dividend, only 1 month we have dividend. May, we don't have any dividend. Clear? In the month of May, we don't have any dividend because question said that dividend is only for April. Dividend is only for April. May, June, we do not have any dividend. So May, June do not have any dividend. Now, what is the cash payment total? Total cash payment is, according to this question, $400,000. Now it is a good news. Why? Because your cash collection is $430,000, but your cash payment is $400,000. So it is a good news, right? The good news says that means you have excess cash. You have excess cash $30,000. You have excess cash $30,000. Now, whenever you have excess cash, you have to pay the loan, right? Now, question said that at the end of every month, you must have $30,000. So at the end of this month, so do you have any money to pay the loan? No, because this money is the excess, right? This money is the excess, and question said that it must be balanced with you. So according to this month, May, although we have excess money, right? But we are not able to pay the loan. Why we are not able to pay some loan? Because at least we have to keep this money with our hand. This is the planning or the strategy of the manager. So we are not going to pay any loan. Now ending balance of $30,000 in the month of May is the beginning balance of month of June, right? Clear? Now this is the beginning balance of June. How much cash we are going to collect in the month of June? In the month of June, we are going to collect $335,000. So this is the $335,000 cash collection in the month of June. Sorry, the total cash collection in the month of June, it is $356,000. So this is the cash collection for month of June. We have cash payment. These are the cash payment. We are going to pay 72,700 for the month for direct material, $15,000 for direct labor, then $59,000 for manufacturing overhead, $75,000 for selling and admin. And the question says that in the month of June, we buy some equipment. In the month of June, we buy some equipment and the amount is 48,300. 48,300, we buy this equipment. Now, what is the total payment for the month of June? It is $270,000. $270,000. So your expected cash collection, $356,000. Your expected cash payment is $270,000. Very small amount. So you have a good news. What is the good news? Good news that $95,000 available cash you may have, right? $95,000 free, because you already pay everything, right? Now, as you have $95,000, and the question said that minimum should be $30,000. Minimum should be $30,000, right? So what is the difference? Is the difference is enough to pay the loan and interest? Here it should be at least. Here it should be at least $30,000, at least. Okay, and you have available $95,000. Now the difference is higher than the borrowing money, right? Difference is higher than the borrowing money. Now you have the ability to repay the money, right? Do you understand? Month of June came, and you find that $95,000 is excess. We can keep at least 30. So remaining is higher than the borrowing money. So this is the time to repay the loan. Now we can remove this one first. So now this is the repay, right? This is the repay. When we are going to repay this money? In the month of June. Repay means minus. We are going to pay this money, it is minus. So we know that from the very beginning, I told you that whenever we are going to repay this money, okay, we have to have interest expense payment, right? Now I already explained how to calculate the interest expense, because look at it, you borrow this money when? You borrow this money in the month of April, right? You borrow this money in the month of April, and it is the beginning of April. And you repay this money in the month of June, and it should be the end of the June, right? So 3 months, and 3 months interest is $2,000. I already explained how to calculate this. So we have $95,000 available. We pay our borrowing money. We pay interest. After paying this, we have the money. It is above 30, right? But our requirement is minimum 30. So it is $43,000. You can see that it is $43,000. $43,000. Now quarter, right? What other people, most of the people will do the mistake. Most of the people, they think that this $30,000 is the end of the June, right? Is the end of the June, is the beginning of the quarter. Is it accurate or not? No, it is mistake, right? Because this is the second quarter, right? What is the beginning cash of the second quarter? because this quarter means it include April, May, June, right? Now beginning balance of the quarter should be which amount? $40,000. Very good, because April is the beginning of the quarter, right? Very good. Yes, most of the students will do this mistake. So beginning of the quarter, $40,000. Beginning of the quarter is the $40,000. Why? Because this is the second quarter, right? And according this cell, what is the title of this cell? The title is beginning cash balance, and beginning cash balance of the quarter. So this quarter, this is the second quarter, I write here. This is the second quarter, and this second quarter include April, May, June. So quarter beginning balance is this amount. Do you understand? Now, if I ask you a question, what should be the ending balance of this quarter? Very good. Yes, $43,000, because June is the last day of this month, right? Of this quarter, June. So this $43,000. This $43,000 is the ending balance of the quarter. Most of the student is going to do the mistake here. So now I am solving quarter. I told you that go month by month, right? So we done April, May, and June. When the quarter came, total quarter, right? Beginning of the quarter, beginning balance of the quarter. So this is the beginning balance of the quarter. What is the ending balance of the quarter? This is the ending balance of the quarter. Now in between, we have plus and minus based on this question. Clear? Now, if it is $43,000 is the beginning of the quarter, then what is the total amount of money we are going to collect in this quarter? $905,000. Now you can add this 3. If you add this 3, right, it means that this is $905,000. This is the total collection for the second quarter. Okay. So beginning balance of this quarter plus cash collection in the quarter. So what is the total amount? Total amount is $945,000. $945,000 is the total cash collection of this quarter. Clear? Then you can see that question give you what is the total direct materials payment for this quarter? $185,000. $185,000 is the total payment for direct material in this quarter. Then direct labor, $53,000. Direct labor, $53,000. Then manufacturing overhead, $191,000. $191,000. Then selling and admin, something like this. You can see that if you add these 3, okay, if you add all this number, add, like, understand? Now, what about the equipment? How much equipment we purchase in this quarter? We have to add these 2. In this quarter, we buy 2 equipment, and the total amount is $192,000. In this quarter, how much dividend we paid? In this quarter, we paid $49,000 dividend, right? In this quarter, we paid $49,000 dividend. So what is the total payment of this quarter? Total payment of this quarter is $900,000. Total payment is $900,000. So we find the total payment. We find total collection of this quarter. We find total payment of this quarter. And what is the good news? Good news is $45,000 is good news. This is the dollar we have remaining. This is the dollar we have remaining, right? And in this quarter, how much borrowing money we already paid? Sorry, in this quarter, how much money we borrow? In this quarter, we borrow total $50,000 money we borrow, right? So this is the borrowing money. We borrow $50,000. Clear? Then how much money we repay? Also for $50,000 we repay, right? We repay this money in this quarter. How much interest we pay in this quarter? $2,000 interest we paid in this quarter. Clear? And this is the solution. And you can see that this is, if you plus minus this, it is $43,000. It is proved. Okay, it's proved. So 45,000 plus 50,000 minus 50,000 minus 2,000 equal $43,000. It is proved. Okay. Clear? Now you have another question I prepared for you without solution. You have to do it at your home because this is 100% question one. I just changed this number. I just changed this number. It is 100% of problem one. Only I make it different digit. So you have to practice it at your home. Okay, you have to solve this by yourself. Okay, 100% here, just number is changed. Look at here, percentage is similar also. Percentage also similar, right? And just I change this number. Question 3, you have the solution already. So you can practice it at your home. Okay.